All right, guys, before we delve into the highlights of the 2023 Ohio Mushroom Festival from this weekend, let's address a topic that's gaining momentum within this community. There is a growing concern among grassroots cultivators and the businesses that support them. They fear that deep-pocketed investors are taking a keen interest in this mushroom industry, much like they did in the cannabis sector. This discussion has been buzzing with worry lately, and in this episode, we're going to sit down with Dan Rogers from Microppose to provide valuable insight on his current legal situation. Hopefully shedding light on what this development might mean for our tight-knit, supportive community.
You're listening to the MycoGeeky Podcast. A podcast that inspires people to grow mushrooms at home to improve their mental, emotional, and physical health. Most people call him geeky, and he is a passionate mushroom cultivator, advocate, and educator. Every week, he sits down with fellow cultivators, mushroom educators, scientists, and therapists to discuss the various ways people can approach mushroom cultivation and how mushrooms can be used to improve their lives.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the MycoGeeky Podcast, the podcast that goes deep so you can level up your at-home mushroom cultivation game. I'm your host, MycoGeeky, and tonight we're gonna shake it up a little bit. We got something we just got to talk about. While I was off roaming around the woods of Ohio looking for mushrooms this weekend, there was, some stuff happened. Some stuff became known, and we got to talk about it. If you guys are on Instagram for sure, and if you grow cubes, you've definitely heard a little bit about what's going on with Microppose and Max Yield Bins, both legitimate companies in the space trying to provide products for those of us who want to buy them. But the plot thickens, guys. The plot thickens. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. Just so you know, Dan, he's the owner and founder of Microppose filter patches, amongst other things. Now Petri dishes, bins, you name it. I mean, he's a growing company because he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's making a quality product. He's differentiating his products, and he's got impeccable customer service. So shouldn't that be enough? That's capitalism, right? That's you do something well and people pay you for it, and it's that easy. Well, it's not always that easy. So he made a statement earlier today, a blog on microppose.com. So I'm going to pull this up here for a second. So the title of this blog post, Max Yield Bins to trademark my brand, Microppose, over my dead body. So basically he goes on to explain the history that they had, back August 19, 2021. Max Yield made a huge order, I guess a very nice size order on his 2-inch tub filters, which fit perfectly on the ends of their Max Yield bins. And long story short, at a certain point in time, they decided they didn't want to order anymore from him. But instead of saying that, they just sort of stopped communicating with him. You guys can definitely go on to microppose.com, go to the blog tab and read through this. But basically, after not re-upping and reordering, they continued to use the Microppose brand name in association with Chinese filter patches that they were getting, not from Dan, not from Microppose. So mistake number one, error number one, breaking the law number one is false advertising, right? People were getting filter patches that were no longer at the quality of a Microppose patch, and yet they were still being, labeled as such. Dan explained that he had fielded a bunch of emails from people saying, man, what's wrong with your filter patches? I thought you had good stuff. And he had to explain that these were not Microppose filter patches. So long story short, his reputation took a little hit from that. he's a consummate business professional. He just tried to move on. At that point, however, it sort of reframes how you think about things. I think he can shed a little bit more light on this. But there was an opportunity to make some different size tubs to improve on the product, and that's what he did. And no more than he released these new Microppose tubs, which are phenomenal tubs, at a really nice price point. He finds out that Max Yield Bins has filed for the trademark, the name Microppose, to become part of their official business entity. So, I mean, I can't. This is surreal, man. I thought we're just a bunch of, hippie dudes sitting around growing mushrooms, but no, there are other people in this community now, and they are not here for you, and they are not here for me. And now our buddy Dan here has got to deal with all this crap. So we're going to bring him on. We're going to talk about this because I think there is a huge cautionary tale here. I think Dan will be he'll be the first to really feel this sting, but surely not going to be the last. So let's, without further ado, I'm going to bring him on so we can chit chat about exactly what's going on here. So Daniel Rogers of Microppose, here we go. What's up, dude?
How's it going?
Well, I probably a little better for me than for you. First off, I just want to say I am so sorry you're going through all this stuff.
Well, right now it's just been kind of talking in the ether of the internet. So right now we're not going through anything. Hopefully it just kind of blows over and turns into nothing. But I'm not really sure where the direction's headed yet. So
yeah. Well, I mean, they officially filed for this trademark, right? This name. They're trying to legally make this their name.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how for now, and I'm not sure how far this is going to go. I mean, we might when things cool down, or I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where we got to have our lawyers reach out, but we're not sure if this might cool down or it goes any further. So I'm not really putting my finger on either outcome yet. So eyes ahead, that's all. So
I hear you. So clarify for me a little bit. Did I get that right? When they stopped actually using your products, they, however, made no attempt to remove the branding of your company from that. They never made a statement saying we are no longer using Microppose filter patches. We're now using, our own filter patches. That was sort of not handled.
Yeah, I want to clarify one of the first things that you said. I'm not actually certain where their location of manufacture is. It could have been in Canada, it could have been in China. So I'm not actually sure where they manufactured. All I know is that they started manufacturing for themselves.
Gotcha.
And and I know how complex the back end of my website, the SEO is, the stuff that we input into our websites. So at the very beginning, I kind of just gave them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they just didn't take it down or they forgot to. So. But yeah, after a time, it was like, wow, they're still up there. It's kind of interesting.
Man, so after I was reading through your blog post, it had me going, man, was this the play from day one? I don't know. I mean, of course, this is all conjecture, but wow, it's a bold move, man. It's just, I remember you and I talked a while back. There was this one random dude on Instagram who just had it out for you, just didn't want anybody to buy anything from you. And I remember we're sitting here talking about, and I tried to just have that guy see things a little bit differently. Didn't work, whatever. It's fine. Everybody gets to be their own person. And now I'm just sitting there going, wow, the good old days when you just had one guy who was just, doing a little story posts from time to time, telling everybody they, should buy their own this, build their own that. And
well, it's a lot easier to block a troll than it is to block another company that wants your ass. So
yeah,
so it's yeah, it's been a weird weekend. So
it is just, I just still can't wrap my head around that. That is such a bold move. I cannot imagine owning a company and then going, hey, I like Dan. I mean, I know his filter patches are good. I could use those on my product. And then going, yeah, but the thing is about that is then I got to pay you and I don't want to pay you. And maybe does it really matter? So I'm just going to go buy these other, I'm not going to say cheaper. I'm just going to say different, potentially not up to the standards that we know Microppose products are, how rigorous you are about the quality of the product. And then to go, well, not only am I not going to use this guy anymore, not pay this guy anymore, but I'm going to start, I'm going to just try to take his company. I'm not even going to offer to buy it from him. I'm going to just try to take his name and keep doing what I'm doing. And no one will know the difference because now I own the name Microppose and I just can't.
It was a freak accident that I even found the filing. And it was because I just noticed that week that there were so many new, like ads on social media, on all of my social media. And I was like, that's way more than usual. And one of my buddies pointed out that the ad spend, he's got a program that he can check other people's ad spend. And they were saying that the name Microppose was bid really high. And so I was like, I just went to my attorney and I asked him, I was like, is there anything we can do about this? Because I know that this company and several others aren't really buying my filters because I know those people personally. And it's just, and it was a freak accident. He looked up the trademark for me because he was like, well, you got to trademark it. And then 40 days after they file for my name is when we found it. So I think I'm more fortunate, if anything, that I caught it early, before it got passed all the way through, because then, I imagine, and this is pure conjecture, but the cease and desist probably would have come through and say, hey, you can't operate as what you're operating as, because we own the rights to your name. And that's not allowable. So I'm just fortunate that we caught it early. Cause if I hadn't have caught it soon, who knows where I'd be now, making another company from the ground up. You never know. So,
man,
fucking weird. Just weird.
I just still can't get over it. But so here's the deal. I think this is the important thing is a couple things. I just was in Mexico with Natural State Mycology, and he was talking to somebody one night, and he was just like, somebody asked him, oh, well, do you have a formal business, this, that, the other thing? You just sell some genetics? And he's like, oh yeah, man, I got an LLC. I started the process to, trademark my name. And I'm even sitting back there going, yeah, okay, you don't got to do that yet. But man, now here we are. And it's like, anybody that has anything, if you have a brand anywhere that people know and you worked hard to have it, might be worth protecting it.
Yeah, I just feel like, so here's where I was talking to a friend, and they're in the media space around psychedelic mushrooms. And their worry was, if I trademark it and if I make an LLC out of it, how do I explain this to the, to the government? And it just looks, it looks difficult. But yeah, I just feel like anybody that's gaining any kind of traction on social media or with their business, if you're becoming a pretty visible company or a pretty visible entity, you should definitely trademark. You've trademarked, right?
No, dude. So all you.
Oh, we shouldn't have brought that up. Now they know.
Weaselly craps. I mean, I got the websites and all that stuff, but
yeah,
don't, max yield, stay away, dude, because I'll roll up my sleeves and I'll find you. Don't mess with me.
Oh, you got reach in the community too. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, but
I think
I'm not making any money,
community...
Dan. They don't want nothing to do with me anyway. I mean, if I was making money, maybe, but yeah, they don't give a crap about me. But yeah, you should. And then I think the other thing that's important to highlight here real quick, and my buddy Ed Grant talked about this one time. We were in a long talk about just safety and protecting yourself and anonymity and all that stuff. And he said, you want to know the two people you're only really going to have to worry about? He goes, it's a disgruntled partner or it's your ex-girlfriend. And I thought, wow, that's, an interesting way to think about it. But at the end of the day, man, those partnerships The very first podcast I did was with somebody where they were going to handle all the production side of things, and I was going to just talk and host, and that let me down, and so here I am doing it all. But I
did a year for something, and that was over an ex-girlfriend. So yeah, I guess that's one of those things.
Sage advice, man. But so when it's really interesting because there was no like formal, you get a cut of their sales. It was just, they ordered a bunch and kind of then just right. They never asked you, can we advertise? Can we use your name? Or did they? Was there a formal arrangement there?
I'm sure that's not really when we were actually doing business together. I don't think that it was a big deal. Like we may have had an email agreement. I don't have those emails, and I don't really recall how it came about. But yeah, they were using my branding on their website in the beginning, and that was fine because I wanted to be associated with their brand name since they'd come out with a pretty fucking cool product for the time. It was all the rage, and they took off like lightning. So yeah, so it was good mutual marketing, until they pulled out, and then it wasn't us anymore. It was them, but they were still using the name. So
right, man. All right. So the hope. I mean, are the lawyers just saying maybe they drop this here in the coming weeks because they're maybe going to realize they're going to take a marketing hit? Like this is not going to make them look good.
Well, I've been told to kind of keep our moves under wraps. Just we don't want to give any chess moves or anything like that. So as far as me, I'm just waiting for them to do whatever they're doing, and I'm just sitting with I'm in my office doing work, and that's kind of where I'm at. I kind of wanted to take the time to like the community really pulled through as my turtle shell this past weekend. So I think that they may have changed the direction of where this could be headed. I think that them going to bat for me was probably the biggest thing that's pretty cool. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It warmed my heart. Every post, every story, everybody I saw talking about it. One of my moderators was like, sent me a DM at one point going, "We did it, man. We got their comments shut down. Like we just were not going to let up on this." And so now they're like closing down comments on some page. And
yeah, did you see their Facebook star ratings?
I did not. What happened?
So it started off at like a 4.6 or something like that.
Okay.
And then I think it dropped all the way down to a 1.2 before they finally just took the rating system down. Like they didn't even, because nobody wants a rating like that.
Ouch.
And for the record, I did not ask anybody to do anything.
Oh, I know.
I did. Yeah. My hands are clean.
Yeah.
So no, that's they everybody just took it upon themselves to come to my defense, and I do appreciate it. I really do.
That's great. Yeah, I think this, that's what's important here is there's going to be more of this, and we just all got to decide. I mean, there's a lot of tribalism in this community. Clicks here and there, but at the end of the day, just like in America, right? United we stand, divided we fall. So we come together for the right reasons, and I know people. I don't know how often they've ordered from you, but they sure, when they heard about this, they started going off like, "Nah, that ain't right. That's not how it's supposed to be." So I thought it was great seeing just how broad the support was. It was just all over the place.
Right. And there's a ton of people I didn't even know. And there's a lot of people I met through this process that have substantial followings, and they were going to bat for me just through the grapevine, knowing about the people that I deal with and kind of the relationships I have. And so they're by extension, they're just a big family. And they fucking stuck up for me. So So I wish I could do more. I really don't know what to do to thank everybody. Like, I feel like I owe thousands of people something, but I don't know exactly.
You are doing something, right? Didn't you, hold on, let me pull it up here.
Well, I am posing as kind of a test guinea pig for this kind of thing. So anybody wants to see what happens when the community sticks together. We'll find out if it did anything or not, but I think that it did. So we'll see.
I think it did. But no, here, I'm going to run 25% off promo this week through October 2nd. Promo code MYCO25. Guys, if you need any filter patches, if you need, I don't know what else, how many bins he's got left, but, you know, help Dan pay a little lawyer fees here and there and get yourself a good discount.
Yeah, I'm sure they're coming.
Oh, yes. Sooner or later.
So how was Mexico? I didn't even know you left.
It was hot, so we flew into Veracruz, and the Gulf was like 92, 93 degrees. I mean, it was a warm bath. And then we went up into the cloud forest in like Jalapa, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞, Coatepec area, and it cooled down. It was pretty much ideal temperatures. Yeah, it was a good time. Get to roam around the woods with Alan Rockefeller looking for, you know, mushrooms you're probably never going to see again unless you go back down there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you bring any native prints back?
I did. Yeah. I got
you did.
stuff.
What'd you find?
Bro, we're going to work it.
Hell yeah. We're going to work it.
I think collectively the sum total for actives, of course, everybody's favorite is 𝐸𝐴𝐵𝐷𝐸𝐴𝐵. That's the talk of the town right now. 𝐜𝐤𝐤𝐵𝐷𝐸𝐴𝐵 or 𝐜𝐤𝐤𝐵𝐴𝐵. What else? 𝐜𝐤𝐵𝐷𝐸𝐴𝐵 neohalopensis. Now those two, the 𝐜𝐤𝐤𝐵𝐴𝐵 and neohalopensis, you'd have to eat a whole lot of them. They're not like super, you know, they pale in comparison to cubes, but they're still very exotic, very attractive, cool looking, you know, 𝐜𝐤𝐵𝐷𝐸𝐴𝐵s. So
yeah, if
really
they've got
fun.
the juice, they belong in your library. So fuck it.
Exactly. Yes. And we got to try to grow them, right?
Yeah, of course.
Try to grow them. Oh, I think Alan and Jordan Jacobs found, what did they find? Oh, Miracula, 𝐜𝐤𝐵𝐷𝐸𝐴𝐵 Miracula, which is pretty rare to find. I think Alan had only found it a couple times previously. So yeah, we found some cool stuff. I never found a cube. I roamed around a few cow pastures and never found a cube. We found some Mexicana, plenty of pancyans. But yeah, no, just good old fashioned cubes this time. But we were a little bit later in the season, so you know, another time we'll have to get back.
Yeah, it may be a higher elevation. You might get some, but I'm not sure if they really perform very well at high elevation. Do they? You know, if there's no cows up there, maybe.
Yeah, no. So there are the Mexican little farmer people. They got their little cow pastures up there for sure. So they were there, and I mean the pancyans were there. Couple Mexicana here and there, so they're there, but I think maybe I think we're just temperature wise a little off or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
or we just didn't get lucky on the cubes. Who knows? It's okay. I got prints from Jordan from his trip the previous year. You know, they've still been working, so got some stuff to play with.
Yeah. I just got my passport probably like a month and a half ago, so
all right, next year, dude, we got to go.
Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna have to play. Maybe even this winter, because like if it's gonna be cold in Michigan, I might as well fuck off to some great foreign country. So
100%. We're
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, Natural State and I. Costa Rica's on our list. I guess he just went there with the family, and he said, "Bro, we got to go look for mushrooms down there." So
yeah, we should pack.
Nicaragua.
Should get a pack of people and go down there. Nicaragua, yeah,
supposed to be pretty bomb as well. Also, like pretty much everything you find in that whole Veracruz state, it is also down there and lesser, you know, trampled over. Although, I mean, trust me, we were in some extremely remote locations, so it wasn't being trampled too much. But there's definitely some, you know, local people that are foraging for actives pretty heavily there. So yeah, but yeah, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, let's go. I'm ready.
They don't lose the desire for it because it's just so ambiguous down there. It's like everywhere. There's actually people that are just hunting for them all day. There's probably a market. I mean, there's probably a market for it there. Yeah.
Yeah. There's people. Not. I mean, I'm not saying there's hundreds of people, but my guess is there's a few people.
Yeah.
That are making sure if they're popping, they're getting them. Yeah.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah. I mean, if I lived there, that's what I would be doing. I'd be on my days off roaming around cow pastures and going on crazy ass hikes everywhere. I'd probably be doing the same thing.
So everybody knows that like domestically grown is much higher potency. So what's the law like down there? Like if you get caught growing, do you get your hands chopped off?
Man, I don't know. I have no clue. I really have no clue how that goes.
Yeah, I hear some of those South American countries are really hard on it, even though they're everywhere. It's like if they catch you with them, you're fucking not in a good spot.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe Central America rocks a little different. I know South America doesn't play. I read a couple wartime books about some tactics down there, and yeah, it might be a whole nother ball game down there. But nah, I never got that sense, and I know a lot of the local guys were also cultivating, so they didn't seem terribly worried about it. I mean, I don't think people are. I think people are being cautious for sure.
Yeah.
No one seemed to be fearing for their lives. So yeah, anyway. Good. Yeah, dude, let's do it. Let's go somewhere fun. Gotta de-stress after all this kind of stuff, right? After
Yeah.
who
I
knows?
need to take a vacation anyway. I don't think I've ever been out of the country, not even to Canada. So
Oh man. Yes. Okay, guys.
like I
Everybody,
said,
we're all
for
going.
the first time in my life. Yep.
We're getting Dan out of here. We're gonna go somewhere super fun. Help him find all sorts of cool mushrooms to put in his awesome tubs. That's what we gotta do. Yeah, man. All right, dude. Well, thank you for coming on. I am again really sorry you're going through all this. I am almost utterly certain you're gonna come out on top. I think it was the wrong play. I really don't think almost ever they think it's gonna play out. I don't think it's gonna play out well for them. I know it's 100% burned a bridge for me.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the coming weeks, and full transparency. I'll make sure everybody knows what the get up is. So.
Cool, awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time. I know you probably just want to go like have a beer and relax and not think about this. So I appreciate you coming on and letting my viewers kind of get a little inside scoop on what's going on. So thank you.
I appreciate you having me on.
All right.
Thanks,
care,
guys.
Bye. All right, guys. Daniel Rogers of Microppose. His Microppose. It's been his, still his, always going to be his. If we have anything to say about it, right? All right. So we got that handled. Again, I was very touched seeing the community come together. I think this is the wake up call. This is the test. This is what we need to be diligent and always aware could happen. Just absolute outsiders coming in and going, nope, that's cute. You guys are doing that over there, but we're just going to come in and muscle you around. And I know a lot of people that are not going to stand for that kind of stuff. And I know you guys are already out there supporting Dan. So keep it up. Appreciate you guys. And I'm just going to take one minute here. The real Microppose right there, Dan Rogers. All right, guys. So now we're going to transition into what Geeky was originally planning on talking about tonight, the 2023 Ohio Mushroom Festival. Of course, I'm excited. My state gets a mushroom festival, and better than that, this year it was like an hour from my house, so it was nice. I didn't have to fly all the way to Mexico to hang out with people like Alan Rockefeller, Mandy Quark, Kyle Cannon. William Padilla Brown was there. I mean, who freaking wasn't there? It was amazing. And then some of the heavy hitter taxonomists from NAMA, like John Plischke, who identified like pretty much 70% of all the found specimens at NAMA. He's an absolute taxonomic beast. Another beast, Walt Sturgeon. He's probably the most well-known taxonomist for fungi in Ohio. He's written one of the very important books on mushrooms of the Appalachia. So anyway, he was there. So those two guys were there. And then a local, Crystal Davidson, who about 8 years ago went out and her, I think, boyfriend at the time got her into foraging just, for edible mushrooms. And she just ran with it, and flash forward to now, she's, like a little protege of Walt's, and she really knows her stuff. Every time she opens her mouth, I pretty much try to keep up and remember all the little tidbits, ID information that she's out there giving. So it was really great. And then I got to connect with a lot of locals, people I had started to meet and get to know on iNaturalist. Couple people that bought sterilizers from me that were in the area I got to hang out with, a couple podcast viewers like Ginger. I got to say hi to her real quick. So it was just a great night. I got to hang out with Tall Citizen. Shout out to Tall Citizen, the homie. Yeah, it was a good time. It's great. I love social media. I love connecting with people in the social media space. Especially when you have a fringe interest like this, it's a really special platform. But man, just meeting people in real life, looking at them, talking to them, it's cool. That's what it's all about. So yeah, I had a great time, and it was a great culmination of NAMA, Mexico, Ohio Mush Fest. It's been a great month. I am feeling a little behind. I feel like I'm neglecting the Discord a little bit. I lost a mod recently. We don't even know why. I probably just neglect tech doesn't work on Discord servers so well. So anyway, it's okay. We're going to revitalize the server. Not that it's hurting too bad, but I'm taking this as foreshadowing for Geeky's got to get back in there and shake things up a little bit. So we'll be doing some of that. Anyway, so I got to meet Don King and really get to know him a lot more on the Mexico trip. We hung out quite a bit. And of course, it's great to get to know another local mushroom guy who, he's like 30 minutes from my house. So it's really great. Anyway, so I got to see him in his capacity with Epiphany Mushrooms, who was one of the sponsors of the 2023 Ohio Mushroom Festival. I got to meet the owner, Eric. Great company. Looking forward to seeing all the products they're going to be developing here in the coming years. But I asked him, I said, there's a lot of people from Ohio Mushroom Festival I wanted to talk to, but I said, but I got to get Don on. We only briefly talked on the Mexico trip podcast. So without further ado, let me welcome to the show, Don King.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, dude?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just still trying to unpack everything from the weekend, and it was a blast.
Yeah, man. And you were doing like quadruple duty. You're like a product rep or like a company corporate rep. There, man in the booth. You're out leading forays. You're one of the speakers. So you were really you were working it. You were working it, dude.
Yeah, man. When it came time to watch the amazing music at night, it came as a big relief. Yeah, nice. No, but it was fun, man.
Yeah, for anybody who did not go, and it was on the auction block there for a while, and you didn't win the bid, man, you should have gone. It was a pretty special event. There was a point where I'm getting a hot dog, and William Padilla Brown is standing in front of me. We get to talking a little bit, and I made some comment like, so yeah, first off, just I'm getting a hot dog, and William Padilla Brown's in front, which for a little Myco celebrity moment's pretty great. But I said something like, yeah, it's a pretty good festival, don't you think? And he goes, pretty good. It's like, yeah, man. He goes, this is really impressive for their first year. Like, dude, even if this wasn't their first year, this would be impressive.
Yeah. Every event like that, especially a 3-day event with camping, is going to have, minor hiccups. 20 years in, that's going to happen. But this was just like, the people organizing, everyone involved. Everybody I ran into at the campground and who stopped by the booth, who came to my talks, went on the forays, like people were into it, man. I think it's a long time coming. I think we've been sitting here looking everywhere else, looking at all these awesome, mushroom festivals, maybe going to them, but like to have one in the backyard it's something. And I don't think this is going to stop. This seems like everybody involved is like, okay, when and where is it going to be next year? It's not even a question.
Better not be a question.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. There were many moments where it was really cool to see newer people starting to reconcile and understand, like, oh, okay, so some people they're at this ID table, they don't leave this table, this is their jam, is IDing. And then some people like to go out and find them and let somebody else ID them, and some people like to take pictures of them, and then there's Alan Rockefeller, he likes to do all those things.
All of it.
All those things. I tell you what, the last day, I believe you were watching his presentation on like bioluminescent photography for mushrooms. And I'm just sitting there going, wow, I spent a week with this guy, and, saw him both at NAMA and in Mexico. And then now here he is, and he's just knocking out another presentation that's just blowing my mind. And
that's brand new, right? It had photos from like 2 days before.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Updated as of yesterday morning. Yes.
Right. The last time he had internet, basically.
Yes. Which he'll hack to get just about anywhere he's at for the most part. But yes.
Right.
It was so amazing to see a handful of people who said, yeah, let's just do this. Let's do a mushroom festival. And the way that it everything, we love to use the metaphor myceliate. That's what happened. They put out their feelers, and people want this. I think that's the thing that I really felt, is there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of ways to be interested in fungi, whether it's talking to you, right? Like I have you listed as a chef and wild food enthusiast, right? You also lead forays, now working for Epiphany Mushrooms. But at the end of the day, from what I've heard, not too many people can cook a mushroom like you can cook a mushroom. So I think let's start there. Let's start with, because let's let people get to know you a little bit more. Is that how you really got into mushrooms, was I want to cook these things?
Basically, yeah. I mean, I was interested in, looking at them, right? Like these mushrooms popping up in my yard, but my curiosity just basically got the best of me. And I'm thinking these, I know there are toxic mushrooms, right? There are ones that you certainly don't want to eat. But I was looking at this variety popping up in my yard here in Kent and thinking they can't all be toxic, and which ones aren't and which ones taste good. And so, that was about 20 years ago, I'd say. And I just sort of jumped into it. I got a brother-in-law got me the Audubon Field Guide to North American Mushrooms, like the classic version. And I just read that thing from like cover to cover, basically, and started to learn. I just started slow, puffballs, things that were easy, things that I knew that didn't have toxic lookalikes, and just one by one added more and more. And yeah, it's I think my latest count is probably 120 different wild mushrooms I've eaten. Which sounds like a lot, but actually there are people who are, 2 and 3 times that, if not more. It sounds like a lot, but there are a lot of mushrooms out there.
Now, this is my kind of competition. I have lost most of my competitive urges from my youth, but eating the most edible mushrooms sounds like a fun tally board to get onto.
Yeah, man. And just tonight, actually, speaking of Will Pittia Brown, I actually bought one of his black truffles there at the Ohio Mushroom Festival and had that tonight. Actually, the first time I had ever cooked with a fresh black truffle. So that was an experience. Oh, it was delicious. Actually made homemade pappardelle pasta. I mean, I was going to do this thing right. And I'm not going to throw, a great value brand angel hair in with this beautiful truffle. So I made some homemade pasta, and it was just like olive oil, butter, some pecorino romano, and that truffle, and a little salt. And it was like 5 ingredients, and man, simple, but it was an experience to have that thing.
Now I've heard that everybody thinks they've tasted a truffle, but they're usually tasting, I think I think this guy, this truffle expert at NAMO was talking about this, where most people have not actually tasted a truffle. So he said a real truffle, it's more complex, it's more subtle, it's more interesting. It doesn't hit you over the head like your truffle fries do at the bar or whatever.
No, or the truffle oil or the truffle this or that. Yeah, it's really subtle. And actually with the whole truffle, I was thinking it could have used a whole another truffle. Like I could have shaved another one on top because it is so subtle. But man, yeah, it's not. And then there are winter truffles and summer truffles and white and black, and they all have different flavor profiles. But yeah, man, it's something. If you get a hold of one of those things, it's worth a couple extra bucks.
Very cool, man. I didn't even see those. I did buy. I bought his cordyceps book. Chris Pooley in Mexico got me hooked on all those little. He had those little bottles of cordyceps tincture, and I kind of liked those. I liked how I don't know how they made me feel. So I was like, okay, I think Geeky's got to try growing some cordyceps next. Like I don't have enough to grow, but
I picked up some cordyceps like super concentrate. I guess it's like the tincture concentrated down. It's almost like a wax. And I haven't tried it yet, but apparently a tiny amount does a lot for you. So can actually have some interesting, noticeable effects. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got a lion's mane one as well. So we'll see how that.
Oh, man, I didn't. He pulled out the special stuff for you, Don. He didn't.
No. That was actually from someone else. Actually, yeah. Come to think of it, that was around the corner. But yeah, just so many interesting things there too. But yeah, man. I mean, the cooking of the mushrooms that's what I really was only interested in edible mushrooms. Like if it's not edible, if it's not something that is a lookalike to an edible that could be toxic, or maybe a medicinal mushroom, I wasn't too interested. But now it's just kind of, I'm definitely broadening my spectrum, really things and the things that I, actually have been passing by for quite a long time. It's a whole other world when you get real close. As you know, in Mexico, right? You got to get close to see some of those things.
Got to get real close. Yes. I just had a little audio. I'm hearing a little audio. Something. Is your plug, like wiggle your plug maybe?
Yeah. How's that?
Maybe better.
Is that working? No.
No.
Uh-oh.
It's all good.
Having a problem with my. Let me try.
All right, now I lost you completely. Oh, there you go.
Any better?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, whatever you just did, I don't hear it now. Cool. All right. That's the.
Oh, actually, Michael, I can't hear you now, so I think something's really messed up on my end.
You can't hear me at all? Uh-oh. That's fine. I will use American Sign Language.
All right, try and no.
Can you hear me? Just because I can put on echo cancellation. Yeah. Oh, we lost him. All right, guys. Well, in the meantime, while he gets that figured out, we'll get him back. We'll keep talking to him. Let's. Oh, here we go. He's back.
All right. Is it working?
It is.
Okay.
But I got your. Where you hear me talking.
All right.
Just plug that headphone back in.
All right. Let me try that. Hello. All right. How are we doing?
Yeah, good. Awesome. Well,
all right.
No, you can still hear me though.
Yeah, I can still. Yeah. You can hear me though.
Yeah. So your monitor must be turned on. Huh?
Monitor's on. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here.
No, I mean you don't want to hear.
No, I don't hear anything through these. Yeah, I'm not hearing you through these.
Okay.
I don't know how else to try here. One last hole.
Good. I'm gonna for your birthday. I'm gonna buy you a new headset.
Yeah, man. Got to do that.
It's all good. We definitely can't talk with that repeat. Do you want to go? So
Yeah.
if you want to play around with the settings, we'll do that.
All right, man. Let's see what I can do.
What's going on is the microphone is picking up. Right. That's why I wear these. If I didn't have these, then I'd be getting all that feedback.
Yeah, man. I don't know why all of a sudden changed.
I don't either. Some of the I think it's the PC laptops seem to do this sometimes.
Yeah, this is a Mac, so it's not mine, and that's part of the problem.
So you can go under System Settings, scroll down to Sound, and then towards the bottom on the right says Output and Input, and you just want to make sure you're
output. Yeah, it's saying the USB earbuds.
All right, and then what's the microphone say?
It's saying built-in.
Can you change that to the earbuds? Because I think you have a mic on that earbud.
All right, let's see. I just did that, and I don't think anything's different.
You're right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Here we go.
Do you want to just reboot the whole thing?
Yeah, man. Let me try that and
While
see what happens here.
I'll run through some photos. I'm going to kind of fill people in, and then when we get you back, we'll keep going.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool, man. All right. See you
All right.
All right, guys. The lives, always spicy, always some technical difficulties. So anyway, the Mush Fest started Thursday. I did not get there till Friday morning. But was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, did forays every day. So basically the format was in the morning, there was always a foray or two or three. And then you would bring back the mushrooms you found from the usually 2 or so hour foray and bring it to the ID table. And then people would start working on IDing them. John Plischke would start photographing them. Alicia Milliken from, where is she from? Alabama? Mushroom Society. I can't remember. She's gonna hate me for getting this wrong, but she's also just a complete beast, working to ID specimens, and then she brings them back to the herbarium. She's an assistant, oversees a herbarium at a university down there. So anyway, her and John and Walt really working hard, and then some local up and coming taxonomists like Crystal Davidson working real hard, and everybody IDs. And then right about that time, just after lunch, they start doing lectures. Those lectures could range from DNA barcoding with Mandy Quark to learning about Amanita muscaria and all things in between. So what's really cool about these forays, these mushroom events, is whatever your jam is, there's pretty much always something for you, and if all the things are your jam, like for me, then it's all good. You never run out of stuff to do. You have a good time. And then at night you get to listen to Fungi Flows. Fungi Flows was there, freestyling about chanterelles and whatever else people wanted them to flow about. And I think it was Saturday night. They even got William Padilla Brown to come up and spit on the mic for a while. So it was a vibe, man. It was a real good time. And I'm sitting here going, these guys, just threw all this together. First year, knocking it out of the park right away. Very impressed. So anyway, let me pull up some pictures here. I was going to walk through all this with Don. Technical difficulties. We're going to have to get that boy some like Ed Gran headphones with the gamer mic setup or something like that. Anyway, but let's walk through some photos, give you guys a little taste. All right, so this was at Southington ATV Park. We were definitely not the normal crowd for this place. I think they're used to, a bunch of four-wheelers, or they also had like some shooting ranges. So I believe they bring in you know, gun enthusiasts to shoot their guns all weekend and stuff. It's like an old abandoned quarry. So anyway, this is, you know, where you kind of cruise in at. And these were some jack-o'-lanterns that we found going out on our first foray, pretty large. And you know, when they're small, the caps are real cylindrical, symmetrical. They're pretty, they're very easy to differentiate from chanterelles. But for somebody new that's never actually seen or eaten or had chanterelles positively identified, when they really get mature like this, and the caps, you know, they go from being like a regular mushroom cap to they sort of flay up. I think that's where a lot of the confusion ends up happening, and you get people go, oh, look, I got chanterelles, and they go eat them, and then they just get real sick. So all right, hold on. Donna's back. Let's quick see if we got something figured out. All right,
I tried turning it on off and on again. So.
Okay. Look at that. That's all it takes.
The magic touch.
That is the magic touch. All right, let me pull your overlay.
Those are some nice looking jacks though there you got.
What's that?
Holy moly. So those are some nice looking jacks you saw there. I wasn't on that foray.
Oh, yeah, that was Friday. It was right across the street. It was the land right across the street from the park. We just kept walking and they were just sitting. I mean, you didn't even have to look for them. They were just right there. Yeah.
Nice. Should have gone out at night to see if they glow.
We should have. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So when Alan came and did the night hike on Saturday night, they were on the table, and he said that in his experience, one of the problems is they bioluminesce so subtly that you have to be in almost pitch darkness to really and then sit there for like 10 minutes, let your eyes adjust.
Like lock yourself in a closet with them, basically,
exactly.
or do a long exposure, you know,
do a
shot
really
on your
long
camera.
exposure. Yeah. Which was fascinating. He talked about on that night hike, and then also in that presentation at the end of the day. It was fascinating to hear how subtly these things bioluminesce, to where he was saying he would set the shot up and leave it for hours. Just
until the battery ran out, he said.
Until the battery ran out. Like, yes, I don't know, an hour or two maybe. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I was like, oh, you have... I would be very afraid of just leaving my camera in the woods for hours and hours unattended, but that's how you get the shot. What are you gonna
how you get it.
Yep. All right, well, great. We got your audio back.
Awesome.
So where were we? So we were you've eaten way more edible mushrooms than me, 100 and some. And so that's really kind of the entree for you was, man, I can eat these things I find in the woods. That's cool. And having, right, you have a culinary background.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've done lots of sort of private chef catering, small weddings, events like that, and some competitions like the Vegan Iron Chef, which is kind of a local thing here in the Kent Akron area. But yeah, just probably would take the love out of it if it was my day-to-day, all-day job. But yeah, man, I love to cook. I love to make delicious things. And you know, you get into this world of mushrooms, and it's like every month there's something new, and everything tastes different, and the texture is different, and you know, it's not just like your Agaricus bisporus, you know, like what 99% of people are used to eating, which can be tasty, right? You can make those taste good, but man, it's like the Rolls Royce are out in the woods for sure.
I love me a portobello, man. I don't know if that's ever going to change, especially if I cook it right. I mean, it's a pretty amazing mushroom, but there are so many unique flavors out there that I hear you. I'm definitely with you. Canned mushroom never going to hit my mouth ever again, unless maybe it's on a free piece of pizza somewhere.
Maybe by accident, maybe.
By accident, yes. Yeah, we get a little spoiled once it's like sushi, right? Once you've had really good sushi, you're not going to buy your sushi from the grocery store, man. It's just never going to happen again. Yeah. So I hear.
Yeah.
Cool. So you did that for a long time now, and I mentioned last week that you had hit my radar because I'd wanted to go find places in the area. This was even before I went down the whole psilocybin rabbit hole for my ADHD. I had somehow come across you and was like, oh man, that sounds super fun. Yeah, like foraging again. I haven't done that in 100 years. Oh, cool. There's this guy that, knows where to go, can teach me some stuff, and it just never worked out. How did you get into, how did you go from just trying to cook mushrooms you found to, I'm going to lead forays for people?
It was, once I started to learn, like I had become more confident in like chanterelles and certain species. I wasn't like super well versed, but I started taking friends and family out to show them what I'm finding. I was excited. I want other people to get excited about this. Right. And eventually, someone was like, hey, maybe people would, like to take classes. Like, why don't you try doing that? And that was a while ago. There wasn't a whole lot of social media around. But I did it. I was kind of getting, just a few people here and there, but it was okay. I think at some point, New Day Cleveland's the little TV show in Cleveland, the daily live show, found my website and wanted to do have me do a cooking demo live in the studio. And they also wanted to follow me out in the woods, so we kind of did that first, and then they edited it and played it as the intro to the live bit. And then it just kind of my website started to get more hits. I started to get more people signing up, and it's kind of pushing things on Facebook and things at that time as well. So yeah, it just became a thing. It became kind of a summer job, basically. I was like doing these hikes and doing them pretty steadily, every weekend. And it's great. I'm still doing them, just kind of fewer and far between, but it's been a minute. So taking people out on the forays this weekend was fun. It's been a while since I've kind of led a big group of people. And it was in my, especially when we went out to West Branch State Park that one day. That's kind of in my, that's my stomping ground. So it was pretty fun to take people there.
Awesome. Yeah. So how many years have you led those forays, those camp outs and all that?
I don't know, 12, 15 years, maybe, something like that. Yeah, the campouts were fun, man. We would have 12 people or so for the whole weekend, and we'd get a group campsite at a state park and just be like looking for mushrooms, cooking mushrooms, eating mushrooms, talking about mushrooms. It's kind of like a mini mushroom festival, really. I mean, it was the kind of couple people, real intimate. It was really fun. COVID kind of took care of that, and so did some regulations that I have to adhere to, and so for insurance and whatnot. So I'm just kind of backed off of those. But yeah, man, it's getting out in the woods and looking for mushrooms. That's something we got to do here soon, you and me.
Well, it's got to rain.
Yeah,
it's got to rain. But yeah, so I will say, I think I mentioned this for NAMA. We rolled into NAMA. I'm in the lobby. I overhear, I think it was this guy, Kenny Rupert, talking to somebody else. And I'm just like eavesdropping on the conversation because I'm standing next to him. And they're talking about some guy that they thought was going to be there, some big guy that they were excited, to see. And they're like, oh, no, he's not coming. Oh, what do you mean he's not coming? Oh, well, he looked up the precipitation maps and saw there was no rain here in the last 3 weeks, so he's chasing rain. And I hear this, and I go over and butt into the conversation. I'm like, wait, do you just say a guy stood you guys up here to go chase a rainstorm? And they're like, oh, yeah. A lot of people do that. And I go, okay, I like this. This is my level of
hardcore, man.
Right here, yes.
Hardcore. The rain has to be in the right place if you want to meet some of these guys, basically. What it sounds like.
Yeah. and so we rolled into this one too. Same thing. Not really rain for a couple weeks. Now, the irony is maybe a week or so before we went to Mexico, man, Northeast Ohio was just absolutely bonkers. I was tripping over edible mushrooms just about everywhere I went. But not when we got back. It was pretty dry. But we did, I mean, we still found mushrooms.
Yeah. I mean, not a ton of each, but we found quite a few different species. I don't know what the final count is going to be, but there were some pretty interesting things found. So yeah, you got to look harder. That's the way it goes. It's sort of, like fishing, hunting, anything else. If adverse conditions, you just have to be a little bit, I don't know, just more open, I guess, more open to not going home with food.
Very true. Crap, we're getting that. I am curious. I'm going to have to ask StreamYard why that comes back, because you didn't do anything. It's just like time has done
weird.
That.
Yeah, and you're still coming through here, so
let me look at something here. All right, who knows? Anyway, okay. Sorry, I'm always neurotic about it, because some guy tomorrow will be like, your audio had problems at minute marker fit, and it's like, I know, dude, trust me, I heard it. It's live. We're doing it.
You can just always say it's Don King's fault, and it probably usually is.
There you go. That's what I'll do. It won't. They'll still make the comment, but yeah. Anyway, so how about we do this? So I think everybody kind of gets, and I think this is a really cool story. It's a real organic way to get into mushrooms, right? You're like, I like to cook. I see some mushrooms growing in my yard. This is what I was just saying to somebody who asked me the other day. They were like, well, where do you start for IDing? And I was like, man, just like, do they pop in your yard after a rain? Start with the ones in your yard. Do you take your dog to a doggy park, and every once in a while you see them? I mean, just start with the mushrooms you find and go from there. And then if you want to get obsessed, of course you can do that.
Yeah, grab a local regional field guide. I think that's the key too. I mentioned that Audubon field guide. It's great, but it's for all of North America. There are dozens and dozens of mushrooms in there you will never see in Ohio. So something like Walt Sturgeon's books, that's the way to go.
Yep. Yeah. So this was all before, I really been talking about IDing or anything on the podcast. I forget what it was. Some, not Father's Day or something, but we'd rented a boat. I think it was at Hinckley Lake, and we're like going to rent the boat for, I don't know, $150 for an hour or 2 hours or something like that. And my parents were in town, and I'm as we're getting all the forms filled out, I just look over and I see this book. Let's see if we can get it in focus. Come on. That thing does not want to focus, does it? Anyway, Mushrooms of Cleveland Metro Parks, and it was $6. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. And of course, it's pretty basic, but it's cool because this is a book put out by the Metro Parks, and these are mushrooms you are likely to find in the Metro Parks. So it's just to Don's point here, the more precise you can get, the better. I got one of Walt's books that's Mushrooms and Macrofungi of Ohio and the Midwestern states. Yeah, definitely pays to make sure if you're East Coast, you're getting a book, at least East Coast mushrooms. If you're West Coast, get a West Coast mushrooms book. But if you can get more precise, all the better.
Exactly. Interestingly enough, about that Metro Parks book, ID book, you cannot take mushrooms from most Metro Parks, so don't get caught doing that. It's pretty ironic. But know where you can safely go and legally do it as well.
Right. Well, if you're just doing an INAT observation, you don't necessarily have to take anything. It's only if you're going to send 𝐥𝐤𝐤 a bunch of dried fungus that you got to worry about.
That's true. Yeah, they're probably not gonna worry about some a little bit of citizen science going on.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Cool, man. So how about we talk about this? So now I got your Epiphany logo there. Why don't how did this whole thing happen? Tell us a little bit about Epiphany Mushrooms, what you guys are doing, what you guys are trying to do, what you guys are about to do, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so basically, it was last fall. This guy named Eric Vaughn hired me to take him out on a private mushroom hunt. So I had, offered private mushroom hunts for small groups, took his family out. Basically by the end, he said, so I have an ulterior motive here. I'm starting up a mushroom company in Akron, which is right in our backyard. And I was like, yeah, sure you are. Right. Like, I'm sure that's what you're doing next,
Right.
Next week. A couple weeks later, he calls me up. Hey, I bought a building. This is really happening. And I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on here. So basically we hit it off. I was working as an adjunct. I was teaching part-time at Kent State for quite a while. Was kind of looking for a change. And then this new company just kind of drops in my lap, and Eric brought me on board to, just help. He's definitely the businessman. He knows what he's doing. And he brought me on as the mushroom guy. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff, man. We're going to be growing edible medicinal mushrooms, trying to get into some of the wild mushroom market, and as well as pushing for basically, decriminalizing, legalizing everything. So everything from obviously psilocybin to wild mushrooms that you can pick in Ohio, but you can't sell them. We have this kind of this antiquated system here where if we want to sell wild mushrooms, we have to bring them from states that have certification programs. Ohio doesn't accept anything like that. So to do it here ourselves, but we want to change that. So yeah, man, we have a lot of things we're kind of irons in the fire. And it's really exciting bringing new people on board here and there to help us with some studies we're running, and it's pretty exciting. It's fun just to work in and around and about mushrooms all day.
Having a mushroom job is definitely the dream for a lot of people. Yes, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's cool that Eric decided to get into this, and he's not just doing, he seems to be a very broad interest in mushrooms. Like, I think it seems like he recognizes that there is a very broad interest in fungi in general. There's many ways that people want to be interested in them, or that there are potentially medicinal therapeutic benefits for, health benefits for. He seems to be broadly interested in mushrooms, which is great.
Yeah, man, he is into it. Yeah, his interest came from started, obviously culinarily here and there, eating mushrooms, but through psilocybin microdosing, and then kind of learning about lion's mane, learning about like all these other delicious, now learning the wild mushrooms. He got his certification to actually be a certified mushroom identifier in several states.
Oh.
So when we do get that wild mushroom component, both of us can kind of be on board with that. But yeah, he's into it, man. He's passionate, and he's also had many successful businesses in the cannabis industry prior to this. So he's coming from this background of, okay, this is great, what we're trying to do here, but it's also needs to be profitable, right, at some point.
Right.
So he really knows what he's doing. Yeah, I feel like I'm in great hands. Yeah, we're doing it, man.
Dude, I love it. This is what I love. I love hearing about Epiphany, right next door. I love finding you right next door. I love Ohio Mush Fest right next door. We got Kyle Cannon right next door. We got, Ohio's got some stuff going on right now, which of course makes me happy. Closer to home, feels good. It's great. Really can't complain.
Not about any of it.
Yeah. So yeah, we got that audio back again. I am literally, the next time I see you, dude, I am going to I'm gonna send you, we're gonna get you a nice little present here. We'll
I would graciously accept that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to my buddy Higher Peaks he does a podcast called Oregon Rooted, and he said that he was starting to send people microphones for this reason, just because, it's just things happen.
A microphone ride share. Yeah, I don't know. Just one second, and the next second it's not.
Yeah. Well, so the good thing is when some of these things happen, I can get into it with StreamYard, and sometimes they go, "Oh, yep, it's our fault," or "You went too long." We're only at hour 10, so that's not necessarily what's going on here, but we'll have to figure out what they think this is all about. But anyway. Well, thanks for stopping by, letting everybody get to know you a little bit more. I'm sure we're going to have you on more again, right? We got the local folks. Don and I have been talking about, doing some local foraging together. I got a couple other guys, like in the spring, we're going to go hunt ovoids pretty hard. So I'd love to get some like out in the woods footage of us, hopefully finding some ovoids. Maybe some 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐿, stuff like that. Which, by the way, somebody did find on our foray out on that Buckeye Trail. Couple of them.
Yeah, they did. Cool. Yes, they did.
That's pretty great.
I also noticed that you are forgetting to you mentioned one UV hike that you went on.
Oh yeah, they did. I only went on I went on the one with now I know why you're bringing this up. Yeah, so if anybody was following my Instagram, so we had gone, we'd gotten our Alan Rockefeller time for sure, and it was a really big group for his night hike. So Don was like, well, there's this other spot we can go. Let's go off over here. So we went over there, and it was me, him, and then my 8-year-old daughter. And at one point, I was going in one direction, and there was like a drop off of about 1.5 feet. And I just have my UV light on. So I don't have a real flashlight on. It's UV light, and it looked like ground. So I jumped down just off this little ledge, but I didn't realize I jumped into about 1.5 feet of very thick, drying, like clay-ish mud.
Quicksands, basically.
Quicksand, but like mud. Dense. Yes, very dense. And I could not actually pull my boot out of the mud. I had to grab the hook of it and just force over time pull this boot out. Anyway, I did a little post of it. It was kind of absurd. It was hilarious. I could not stop.
You're a trooper, man. You made it through. You found a mushroom down there too.
It
was a shortcut to a mushroom.
See, it's a silver lining. There's wherever you fall or fall in the mud, you might find a mushroom.
Yeah, don't get up right away. Look around just a little bit.
Yeah, just while you're dying and about to sink into quicksand, just in case there's, there could be a new 𝐜𝐸𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐿. There could be a mycena that Alan Rockefeller has not described yet. You just never know what you're gonna see. Yes, it's true. But yeah, they did those UV night hikes quite frequently. Those are like the new deal. Alan's definitely put that on the map. And even if you don't find mushrooms, they're fun. I mean, just seeing plants, chlorophyll glows like a real bright red, as you know. Some of the grasses are like real interesting blues. You can see insects, spiders and millipedes look cool. Lichens look really cool. So it's just like seeing and interacting with nature in a completely different way. And people seem to really enjoy it. And who doesn't want to just wander out in the woods in the middle of the night in the dark anyway? It's a good time.
It's pretty trippy.
Yes. Cool, man. Well, so we'll do more of that. I'm definitely trying to balance both. I got zaps going right over here. I'm working on my prints. I got the Neo-Halopensis germinating in plates right over here somewhere, just off camera to here. So we're still doing lots of actives, but Geeky's evolving. My interest. This is how I am with all the things I get interested in. It just grows and grows, and I think a lot of people are that way as well. So it's been a lot of fun. Like
you're gonna need some more shelves.
What's that? Oh,
you're gonna need some more shelves.
No. My wife she's like, you already have half the basement. It's too much. And I'm like, well, when we do an addition, I'll just take that whole basement over there.
A trap door with a secret cellar below that. I think you can make that work.
That's what I need. Yes. I was talking to a buddy from Sandusky who was going on about how he, the old lore from the shroomery people talk about how you got to take a shower, right? Scrub yourself right before you work in your still air box. Well, he does one better. He apparently comes out of the shower dripping wet. He doesn't put a lick of clothes on. And he works in a still air box. And he said, and then when he dries, he just runs back into the shower just so he's always wet so that nothing sloughs off him or anything. And I'm like, wow, that is a level of dedication I do not have. I do not want my 12-year-old walking downstairs as I'm buck naked doing transfers in front of this flow hood. That's probably not the scene I'm trying to set. But, everybody has a whole different approach. It's fascinating.
You never know, though. That could be an OnlyFans thing for you, a little revenue stream.
Yeah, only fungi. Only not just fungi.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. All right, dude. Well, thank you so much for being on. We'll be doing more of this stuff. We'll definitely have Don on to help teach us some more about field mycology and stuff like that. I'm definitely hoping to get little moments of, hey, let's talk about Entomoloma tonight. Let's talk about Liogier. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Let's just help, evolve. I don't think people in the cultivation community, they don't have to buy, the thick book of boletes and just study it obsessively. They can pick this stuff up, here and there a little bit at a time, and over time that knowledge base will grow. So that's I think that'll be fun. We'll have to start doing some more of that stuff. So.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, dude. Thank you so much.
Man. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Take care. All right, guys. Let me pull the overlay off. All right, so we're doing good time-wise here. Yeah, let me get back to some of these photos real quick. We won't spend a whole, too much time on them, but let's just see, what we saw. A few of these I've posted on Instagram, but let you get some better looks here. So again, I'm just getting into this. I'm not going to give you all the Latin names. I'm going to start with all the colloquial common names. They're easier to remember anyway in the beginning. And if you can say, I know that's a jack-o'-lantern, you can always Google what the Latin name is. So got to start somewhere. This is a little orange mycena. We got some little oysterling mushrooms here. I don't even know what this is. At first I thought it was a amanita, but I'm not entirely sure. It's a very short stipe. I didn't see an annulus, so I don't know. Maybe it is. And this, it kind of looks like this one, but this is a little, I believe, actually think I just had this one. It's a common bonnet. Mycena 𝐥𝐤𝐤. That ID was courtesy of Alan Rockefeller. Thank you very much. So yeah, when we do these photos, so you guys, if you walk your dog and you see a mushroom and you want to just make your life a little slightly more fun, download iNaturalist and take some photos. Take a overhead shot, take the aerial shot, take the the side shot. And if you're really lucky and you can get several mushrooms in various states of development with a gill shot that shows the stipe in totality, that's of course an ideal shot. This is not the prettiest version of that, but it kind of gives you an idea. And then you just upload those photos to iNat, and you try to guess what it is. The AI will try to guess what it is. And if you're wrong, hopefully somebody will see that and get you a little bit closer in the right direction. Kind of fun. And a real easy, simple way of connecting to nature a little bit more, learning something in the process. Here's a little sad, pathetic ruchula. They're real brittle gills, brittle everything. Some of them, they just fall apart if you just look at them. You got to be real careful. I have no idea what these guys are. Oh, let's see. I can tell you what these guys are. Maybe I can. It's funny that one that I said I thought it was an Amanita. Wow, that's funny. John Plishke literally just updated this with an ID tag, probably because he doesn't know what it is either. Fun. Yeah, so anyway, iNet's a way to, it just gets you a little more connected to people. These guys grow on black locust. I forget the scientific name, but they're pretty interesting. Definitely not pretty. So here's the ID table. So you see that the red-headed gal there on the left of the table, that's Crystal Davidson. She is quite impressive. Man, she knows a lot of Latin. She's kind of like, she's spitting off just about as much Latin as Alan Rockefeller a lot of the time. So here she's literally running the table, guys. She is just picking a mushroom up and then IDing it within seconds, sometimes 10 seconds, usually almost on site. And then we'll give a 5-minute, mini lecture about what that mushroom's all about, or interesting ID characteristics, things like that. So here's just a few of those pictures. This was a fairly desiccated mushroom that was interesting. I took a bunch of pictures just hoping I could figure out what it was later. Here's Don King giving a talk about foraging. I believe it was Foraging 101. This was an interesting little mushroom that it was daylight, but if you shined the UV light on it, it made the gills glow really interesting green. So I like that photo. Here's a little 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐿 polypore. Some cool mushroom shirts. It's a vibe, guys. It's a vibe down there. Had a lot of fun. Some spiky, I forget what these are called. I kind of like these. I found these at NAMA. Oh, these are sharp, scaly Pholiota. Pholiota squarosoides. And here are them as, young, youthful mushrooms. And then here they are much more fully developed. And then here's an older bunch of them within the log itself, which was kind of a cool find. Here's a little or a dead man's finger. Kind of cool. There are plenty of those. Here's some slime mold. This is called dog vomit slime mold, and it feels probably better than touching dog vomit. I'm not going to test that theory out, but it was a very vibrant, interesting slime mold. Some more dead man's fingers. No clue what that is. Here's some really very good looking chicken of the woods. This was the guy who, I think he was the one who found it. I'm not sure, or maybe another guy did. Anyway, he shout out to this dude. I forget his name, but he had it for dinner that night. Some more pleurotus, some oyster mushrooms. This is called something shank. What is this one called? I forget. Rooting shank. These were very cool mushrooms because, as you can see, there's a few inches of stipe there visible, but when you pull it out, the stipe's almost 2 or 3 times longer. It was kind of cool mushroom to find. There's a fair amount of them around. Very symmetrical cap, nice gills. More pleurotus. This is resin polypore. Apparently edible. I have never had it. We put it on the ID table, so I didn't get a chance to try it. Some little orange mycena. So, even though it was dry, it was a little dry here, we still found a bunch of mushrooms. Aborted entaloma, which is an interesting mushroom. Apparently tastes real good. I have not tried it yet. It's called shrimp of the woods. Anyway, some boletes. Some spalted maple. I'm used to be a woodworker, so I I had to take a picture here. I like the spalting. This is, I think they thought this was some like Versacolor Russula. They seem pretty excited about it. Here's the ID table, and you see they got the books out, right? This is what you do. So, you know, you can either just ask one of these taxonomic gurus what it is, and they'll tell you, or you can learn something and crack a book and go through a dichotomous key and try to figure it out yourself, and then still be wrong, and then have them tell you what it is anyway. But it's a learning process. It's my kids playing with some emus and some goats. Some more orange mycena. Here's some more, oh, what is this called? I forget. It's another kind of dead man's finger. It was kind of cool. Some more shrimp of the woods from the Entoloma. Some coral fungus, more chicken of the woods. More chicken of the woods, some bleeding mycena, and one cordyceps we believe was found, which is pretty impressive because it's usually pretty hard to find them when it's dry. So this was a pretty cool find. And this is birch polypore, and they grow on birch. Here's Mandy Quark. Given her DNA barcoding lecture with Alan and Kyle sitting on the couch next to her. And then here's Kevin. He's one of the organizers who got the whole thing together. This was him giving the closing talk, you know, thanking everybody for coming out. It was a cool moment. Great to see him get a little emotional and, you know, just very touched at how great everything went. It was really cool. All right. And then there's me leaving with my little thing. Anyway. All right. Thank you for indulging me, guys, with all those photos. Hopefully you guys like seeing that, get a little taste of what it's like. I know a lot of you guys probably already affiliated with your local mushroom society, mushroom club. For those of you who are not, but think this looks like it might be a good time, you know, it can't be all transfers and mixing cocoa. You know, sometimes you gotta get out there and, you know, chill out and connect with nature and do some fun stuff. So this is something worth checking out for sure. Yep. Yeah. Cordyceps tenupes. Good call. Oh, it's my buddy from NAMA. Yeah. You know it, dude. You called it. Hold on. Now I'm actually looking at the all the comments here. I'm not gonna go back. Anyway, guys, it was a lot of fun. We're gonna be getting back into quite a bit of cultivation here. Don't think that I've completely abandoned cultivation. I have not. We're still doing a lot of it. Still harvesting tubs, working on the zaps, about to run. I found a reishi in Mexico that I'm culturing, so I'm gonna try to start growing some more reishi. Haven't grown that in a while, so that's gonna be fun. Just trying to grow a little bit. Took some time to go on some forays, meet some people, and now we're gonna get back in the lab. It's about to be winter again, so I'm gonna be hitting the, you know, working on content, working on cultivating zaps, and seeing what we can figure out with some of these exotics. And then in the next couple months, we'll be leading into a big citizen science project that I'm trying to get going here. It should be pretty exciting. Really excited to see how the way everybody came together for Dan, for Microppose, you know, to protect our community. I think this citizen science project is going to be another opportunity where we can all come together. We can do something for all of us, and you know, kind of beat the big guys to the punch and get it done. So that's the hope. Oh yeah. We'll get a little shout out here. Alan and Mandy will be at the Georgia Mushroom Festival this upcoming weekend. That is absolutely true. I think I forget if they said they're going to the Indiana one after that or not, but or no, I'm sorry. I think they're going to Alabama as well. So yeah, Georgia, Alabama, Indiana's got one coming up. So hey guys, if you're in Georgia, Alabama, or Indiana, you got fest to go to. So get out there, take a lot of footage, and we'll have you on the podcast to talk about it. All right, guys. I was going to mention one other thing here. Booked a pretty exciting guest coming up. I don't know about you guys, but I listened to Terence McKenna while I'm working in the lab, just, almost like a little Gregorian chant, just listening to Terence talk and trying to channel that, metaphoric spirituality, that cosmic, just anything can happen kind of vibe that he has. And anyway, I had been reading this book, The Brotherhood of the Screaming Abyss. Man, I don't know what's up with my autofocus, by Dennis McKenna. And we're going to have Dennis McKenna on here in the next couple months. I'll be recording his podcast in October, and then have him on shortly thereafter. Pretty exciting. I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that I'm going to get to talk to and ask questions of the brother of Terence McKenna. I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I really hope I ask some good questions. If you guys have questions you want me to ask, feel free to DM me, message me. I'll be sure those questions get asked. So until next week, hope you guys grow a lot of mushrooms. Hope you get out. If it's raining in your area, get out and do some foraging. Send me some pictures. Just stay fungal, guys. Let's grow and evolve, and let's not pull any max yield moves. How about that?